This YCN segment is brought to you by Harris Family Furniture in Plymouth, Laconia, and Chichester.
Welcome back, YCN Sports Talk. Jeremy Stout, Andrew Zerhide, and as promised, we hit the NBA Finals. We were sitting in Ramontos last week, and we both figured the Warriors would win the series. At that point, it was kind of a foregone conclusion. I think we both picked the Cavs to win Game 3 at home.
Yes.
And they had a chance. They were in it the whole game. They had the lead. It definitely looked like their best chance. But as I said, and I believe you believed as well, if they don't win that game, it's almost like, okay, you could see LeBron James knowing the outcome. I mean, it'd be great to come back from 3-0 down, but he doesn't do that. And I'm not going to call LeBron James a quitter and say he quit on his team. They just ran into a team like the Warriors that just wasn't going to be stopped.
I mean, historically, the Warriors are one of the best teams ever in the history of the NBA. So, I mean, it just tells me the greatness of LeBron James. It takes that kind of a team to stop him in his tracks.
Yeah.
And really, like you said, Game 3, they were in it. And Game 1, I mean, we all know what happened in Game 1. They were right in it. So, I mean, it could have easily been a 2-2 series. You can't forget that. But, I mean, the Warriors just historically good. And again, that just speaks to LeBron's greatness.
And LeBron James said after, I think it was Game 3 maybe, he said it's like playing the Patriots, this Warriors team, is just because they do not beat themselves like the Patriots. We've seen that. And so you have to take every advantage and every little mistake that they do, every mistake they make, you have to capitalize on. And when you're stopping the Warriors and then you don't score, or there's 3 or 4 stops and you're not scoring, that's your opportunity that you're giving up, and you can't go long stretches without scoring against this team.
I mean, whenever, LeBron's teammates, I remember we were talking about LeBron's supporting cast is going to make a big difference in the game, because if LeBron, we know what LeBron's going to do. He's going to score at least 30 points, maybe 40, maybe 50. Right? He's probably going to have a triple-double. It's going to come down to his teammates. If they're not performing at a high level, you're just not going to hang around with a team like the Warriors.
And there's not going to be a lot of teams that are going to hang around with the Warriors. A lot's going to go into the offseason, but right now this team looks like they'll be complete for next year. And as it stands, they've already won 3 championships in 4 years. Of course, the one year they lost was to the Cavs, so they've been there 4 straight years. I mean, this team's obviously a dynasty, maybe the best. It doesn't really look like there's any slowing down this team, especially this year.
I mean, for other teams, if I'm another team's GM like Danny Ainge, next year, I'm probably not going to go all in next year, because this Warriors team, I just don't know how you get past them. I mean, we've seen Brad Stevens, I think earlier on this season, the Celtics did beat the Warriors. They used really good defense. But statistically, that was a kind of a rare thing to happen, especially how that game turned out in the end. But, how do you take down the Warriors? I can't imagine building a super team. I mean, you need LeBron plus a couple more LeBrons. I just don't know how you do it.
Because, let's not forget, Kevin Love had a good series. He wasn't terrible. Obviously, then you got Tristan Thompson, but you don't have the Kyrie Irving, so it does fall off. But even if you have, it's almost like you'd have to have LeBron James and then James Harden and Chris Paul. That's a Houston Rockets team that we'll talk about later that LeBron could go to. But if you're looking at this Warriors team, they're the favorite this year. They've got all their pieces back. They've got Curry lined up. They'll probably wrap up, I would imagine, Durant after next season. And I imagine with Steph Curry and Kevin Durant, that's a good mix. And even if you don't keep Klay Thompson or Draymond Green, you're still far and away the best team.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Just the two of them together, with the supporting cast around them, they're going to be the favorites to at least make the finals, probably to win the finals. So, as long as they're together,
and
it's a super team.
And everybody wants to go there because they know, hey, I'm a mid-level player. I'll take a little bit of a pay cut to get to the Warriors. You see like an Andre Iguodala. It's a guy who, he was on the cusp of being, I don't want to call him a superstar with the 76ers, but he was good.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then he kind of, and I don't want to say he took a reduced role, but he did a little bit, obviously, behind the big 3 and the big 4. And so we go over to LeBron James, and we'll make our picks for where we think he's going to be next year. But 2 places. He goes, obviously, to the Eastern Conference or Western Conference. If he does go to the Western Conference, which a lot of people are talking about, then in the Eastern Conference, does that make the Celtics the favorites or the 76ers?
I absolutely think it's the Celtics. The 76ers just haven't really proven themselves quite yet. They still have young players. I think maybe give it 2-3 years. I could see Philadelphia definitely being the favorites. But right now, if LeBron leaves the East, the Celtics rule the East. I think they're the favorites for the finals. Definitely.
Right, and especially with Kyrie Irving coming back.
Absolutely.
Hayward, we have
Gordon Hayward, right.
It's going to be an exciting ride for the Celtics team. And you're right, if the Cavs don't have LeBron, it's going to be a lot different in that Eastern Conference. And we'll get into the Eastern Conference in our next segment. We'll talk some Celtics. There's some chatter. Kyrie Irving, he'll be back next year, but would he sign an extension with the Celtics, or is he going to go somewhere else? And like I said, is it up for grabs in that East, or is it just between the 76ers and the Celtics? We'll take a break. You're watching YCN Sports Talk.